Hey everyone, happy Wednesday to you. We are back at the Cobblestone Hotel for another brand new fresh episode of Music Talks exclusively on the Armstrong Neighborhood channel. As always, I am your host, Chelsea Rittenauer. Before we get started, a special thank you to Rick Fike, the man behind the camera, and to Macaulay Jones of Mackie Music Studios, taking care of all of our sound needs. So, our featured artist this week is country singer-songwriter Katrina Whetsel.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so very much for coming out tonight.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Absolutely. So I've seen your stuff all over Facebook. I've heard you sing. I've seen you online do your thing. But I don't really know all that much about you personally. And I would love to hear your story. So take me all the way back to the beginning.
Awesome. Well, I started playing guitar when I was probably about 13 years old. And I've always loved music. I've always wanted to be a singer, but I had the worst case of stage fright I think I've ever seen anybody have completely. I only ever sang in front of my little cousin. I had a friend who was a singer, and I just kind of idolized that. And I had a lot of people that would kind of pick on me and just tell me, oh, you're never going to make it. It's never going to happen. And I think I flipped a switch one day. I was about 14 years old, and I just realized, you know what, I don't care what anybody says. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to know if I'm any good. So I saved up my allowance. I went and bought a karaoke machine. And, of course, I love country music, so it was country karaoke songs and everything. And we had a family gathering, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to shock everybody, and I'm just going to see what the reaction is, and I'll go from there. So I carried my karaoke machine down to the family party, stuck it right in the middle of everybody, and I just remember my grandma looking at me going, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going to sing a song. Everybody's like, okay. So I just belted out God-Fearing Women Get the Blues, and it went from there. It was crazy.
So is that what got you over your stage fright?
That's what got me over my stage fright. Yeah, I actually, I had, the day before that, I had somebody who was really putting me down. They're like, you can't do this, da-da-da-da. And I finally flipped the switch. I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm just going to do it.
So for all of you young ones out there watching and listening, just do it. If you want to sing, if you want to perform, get out there and just do it.
Absolutely. Just do it. So, I went from that to my grandpap heard me sing, and he used to do this little thing. It was called the Mount Tabor Homecoming up in Normalville area. And he says, all right, he goes, let's see what you got, kid. I'm going to give you your first shot. I was like, what? So he used to book the music to play for the event. So he's like, I'm going to let you do it. It's like, okay. So with my parents' help, they supported me. They got me a sound system and got me into vocal lessons, and before you know it, I had my first show, and it took off from there.
So you had training, vocal training.
I did.
Who did you study with?
Atkins Music Center.
Yes,
I studied with
Atkins.
the wonderful Dave Carrier, Cabby, who will be performing with me today. And I also studied with local singer Amber Trump. So, yep. And also I did a little work with Stephen Gallo for a little while too. So it was pretty awesome. I lived at Atkins. Atkins is like my second home. So I lived there. I took probably 2 hours of lessons every week at least, sometimes more. I had 4 to 6 hours of rehearsal time at night after, school and work and all that fun stuff.
So you were really serious about this.
I was. I still am. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, put your heart and soul into what you really love, what you believe in. So
I love it. And you're still doing it now. How many years has it been that you've been out performing?
Oh my gosh. I've been doing this since I was 14, and I'm 28 now. So
it's been a while.
See how many has that been?
Math. We're not mathing right now.
Longer than I can remember.
Yeah.
But
So let's talk music. There are a lot of country artists in this area. Why country music for you?
You know what? I grew up on country music, and my mom was into country, my dad was into the rock and roll, so I had a little bit of both in me. And of course I had my own style. Every kid growing up has their own genre, and I listened to everything, but I always came back to country because it's just, to me, it's always spoke to my soul. I can relate to that music. Being 28 now, I've been through the heartbreaks and the ups and the downs and all that. So, I mean, I can relate to, right? I can relate to that kind of music, and my voice has always just kind of fit that, and I feel I can put my heart and soul and my passion in and my experiences and really get that through when I sing country music.
Did you have any artists growing up or even now that you think you're similar to, or you took example from?
I honestly believe I am my own unique artist. I have a very unique sound, but I do draw a lot from artists like Reba McEntire is my mom's favorite, and I love Reba. I idolize her. I think that, she's been able to change with the times while staying true to herself, and that's something really awesome. But I've also, of course, like any younger singer, like Miranda Lambert was my thing. I have a lot of Miranda Lambert covers that I do, so, yeah.
Very cool. All right, so you started out as a cover artist?
I did.
Correct?
Yes.
And you did that for how many years?
Oh, I did that until I was about 16, 17. Okay. So, and I did a cover demo with a local gentleman just to kind of get, my first experience of putting out a CD and to give something to everybody to be like, hey, this is who I am. Here's the kind of music I do. Book me for a show. And
is that still out and about? Like, can people hop online onto YouTube or your website and hear that?
Somewhere out there that still exists. I have it. I will get it up on YouTube. But it's kind of weird because I was like 14, 15 when I did that.
Right, and your voice is very different now.
It's very different. It's kind of weird to sit and listen to that, but it is cool still to go back and hear that and be like, wow, I can't believe that's been that long, and it seems like yesterday. But that CD, luckily for me, when I was 17, it landed on the desk of a Nashville producer. His name's David Walker of Walker Musical Enterprise, and he just kind of gave me a call, and he's like, hey, this is awesome. So he's like, I really want to work with you. I want to get you down here. I was like, oh, wow, no way. I was kind of starstruck and just oh, no way. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So I talked to my parents, I was still underage. So, of course, mom and dad had to approve everything. But, yeah, it happened so quick, though. We got into that, and it was a whole nother world for me. I didn't realize how something like that just takes off, and it's
Tell me
okay.
about it, because there are, as I mentioned, younger ones that will be watching this and they want to record in Nashville or wherever, and they want to be in a recording studio, and they want to be singers. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that experience and how it went?
It was incredible, and it's a totally different world than being on stage. When you're on stage, everything is just here. There's, if you make a mistake, you keep going, you figure it out. In the studio, everything has to be perfect. Everything's timed. Everything's fast. You got to do it now. And I was, from the time I talked to him, a month later, I was in the recording studio with 10 songs I had to know. And
were they covers, or did you write originals down there?
They were originals. They were written for me at the time. I was young and new, and then
so you didn't write these.
I did not write those ones.
But
correct.
Still, that's really, really cool.
Yes, it was awesome. I actually had a girl who's from California. Her name is Christina V. Montgomery, and she called me up and she's like, "Hey, I want to write a song for you. Tell me something you want a song about." Well, I was always the go-to girl with my friends. Everybody came to me for everything. I was like, I need a song about that. So she ended up writing a song called Go-To Girl, and it's literally about my life. So it's really cool. But yeah, it was crazy. We were down there, and they're like, don't learn the music too well because we want to be able to tweak things and this and that. And I got down there, and we did every song in 3 takes, and the producer was really impressed with me. He's like, I've never had anybody so prepared that come down and just... He's like, 3 takes.
Take notes, kids. That's how it should be done. Good for you.
It was awesome. Take it serious. It's a very serious thing.
It's a very serious thing.
But it's a lot of fun. It was so much fun. So I had the album done in 2.5 days. So I ended up in Nashville, of course, Main Street, having a ball for the rest of the week. I didn't have to work as much.
2.5 days.
2.5 days, 10 songs.
Once again, that's how it should be done. I high five.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So is that one out floating around on YouTube or your website?
That album is called Toe in the Line, and you can find it on YouTube. I'm on Spotify, pretty much any download site that anybody's into, you're going to find me.
Tell me how everyone can look you up on these sites.
Honestly, if you just Google Katrina Lynn, you're going to find me. But youtube.com/Katrina Lynn Music. Just search Katrina Lynn on iTunes, Spotify.
And just to be safe, could you spell your name for me?
Katrina, and my middle name is Lynn.
Perfect. Wow. 10 songs recorded in 2 days. So did they send you demos beforehand that you listened to, and that's how you learned the songs? Or did you go down there cold?
No, they what we did was they interviewed me, and they're like, okay, so what's your style? What artists do you look up to? What kind of mood are you going for? Do you want attitude? Do you want lovey-dovey? And I was like, at the time I was like a little rebel child, a little bit like, wanted to be anyway. Yeah. And I was like, I want something with attitude. So they put me on what was called a Rofax. Most people outside of Nashville aren't real familiar with Rofax, but it's where all of the artists get their music. So they put your name on, they put your label or your producer, they put your style and the artist that you're like kind of like, and it goes out to every major songwriter everywhere. And these songwriters will go through this paper and they'll be like, oh, I want to work with this artist. I have a song that might work for her, and then they send it to the producer. So and then from there, my producer was like, okay, well, we got so many songs for you that there's no way you have time to sift through them. So they would pick through, and they sent me like 50 to 100 songs. And he's like, okay, sit down, listen to these songs, see if anything clicks for you. If you want to do it, call me. I was like, oh, okay. So I went through. You were
17?
I was 17. All this within a month, mind you, and I'm still going to school and working a job and everything else that, a young kid at that age is trying to do. So in between, I'm like, listening to songs.
In between, you're like being famous.
Trying to, anyway. So, yeah. So I picked my 10 songs, and he's like, okay, I'm going to get the musicians ready. And he's like, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm like, okay. So, yeah. It was crazy, but it was a whole nother experience, and I loved every minute of it. I've never felt so in my zone as standing behind that studio microphone and just recording those songs. It was awesome.
Okay, let's talk now. Now you're writing your own music currently, correct?
I am new to the songwriting world. I am.
Yeah. Tell me about that entire process. What made you want to write your own music?
Well, you know what? I love my songwriters. They're so talented, and I really think it's awesome and important to work with people who are familiar with that kind of thing, because you learn a lot from these people. But when I was kind of going through doing everybody else's songs, I was like, well, I'm kind of missing a piece of me. Like, yeah, I find myself in every song. I wouldn't pick those ones if I didn't relate to them. But I was like, I really need to learn to draw from my own life and really push it to the next level. Exactly. And I think that's part of being an artist. You need to get to that next level by telling your story, using your own emotions, your own experience to create your own artwork,
Do you have a specific process when you write, or does it happen differently each time?
You know what? I'm honestly still learning my process. What I found crazy, though, is lyrics and songs will come to me at the worst time.
I know.
Literally.
And you don't have like paper and pencil beside you, and you have to remember it, and then it's gone an hour later.
Like in the shower.
Yes.
Music always comes to me in the shower. Which when in the shower, when I'm driving, or when I'm literally in the middle of work with a customer standing in front of me, I'm like, can you hold on for 1 second? I just gotta stepping back. And luckily, like like anybody else, I've got my phone on me all the time, and there's a reason for that. Like there is lyrics like crazy, recordings and typed out lyrics all over my phone, and every once in a while I'll hit on something, I'll be in my zone and I can get through something. Other times it's bits and pieces of stuff, and you might piece 2 or 3 songs together down the road and be like, okay, this was 3 different ideas that now is going to be one. So yeah.
Amazing. So how many original songs that you've written do you currently have?
Oh my gosh, I have so many, but I'm going to just say right now, completed, happy with, I'm going to say 2. Because everybody's their own critic.
Yeah,
I have a
fair.
lot of stuff in the works, but I'm going to honestly say 2 of them right now that I am looking to have on the next album.
Okay. So let's talk the next album. This is going to be all of your original written works,
That's
correct?
the plan so far. I have done some co-writing, though.
Okay.
I wasn't originally going to, but, when I started into the process, I'm like, you know what? I'm being stubborn. You can always learn more. There's always somebody that knows more than you. There's always somebody that's better than you. Like, learn from them. Take that opportunity. So I started working with a couple of my songwriters from the first album. They're like, hey, we love you. They still talk to me. They still help me. They're like, do you want to co-write with us? I'm like, yes. So I got a couple of songs I'm working on with a couple of the songwriters from my first album. So we'll see where those go, if they end up on the CD. And so, yeah.
So how many songs do you think are going to be on this CD?
I am aiming for 10 to 12. We'll see where it goes. I'm still deciding.
When do you think it'll be ready?
By next year. I'm planning to be back in the studio by the end of this year, beginning of next. So that is the next trip. After
and you're recording in Nashville again?
I will be in Nashville again.
Same studio, same producer.
Same producer. You know, I found somebody. It's hard to find people too in that business that you trust. Yes. And you know, the people that I have met in Nashville, the ones I have worked with, have really helped me a lot over the years. And they've genuinely helped me. They genuinely care. They really want to see you succeed. You know,
that's a rarity.
It's very rare. It's you know, it's a scary world down there. You just don't know who you can trust anymore. And when you find somebody that you can trust and works with you and does what you need to get done, I mean, you stick with them.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, keep your eyes open for a new album from Katrina Lynn that will be on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, the works. So be sure to check in on all of her pages. All right, let's talk the Josie Awards. I remember seeing on Facebook last year, before we even met, that you got nominated for a Josie Award, and
yes.
I have no idea what it really is. So why don't you explain?
Absolutely. So the Josie Music Awards is the world's largest indie music award show. There are people and artists from all over the world that come to it. It's held in Pigeon Forge, actually at Dollywood at the Celebrity Theater. It was a whole, don't talk about a whole nother level. It was a completely different level. It was TV interviews. I did 2 of those. There's a whole red carpet. There's record labels and artists and producers and everybody, everything. And it's crazy. So, and I was lucky enough last year, I was nominated for Female Country Artist of the Year for traditional classic country music. So I got to do, you know, the whole gown, the whole red carpet experience. And when you walk through the door and you just see the auditorium, it's set up just like you would think like a normal award show is. There were cameras everywhere and just a red carpet and the big screen and just...
Did you perform that night?
I did not get to perform that night, but hopefully soon. You never know.
Yes, absolutely. So how did you get nominated for that? How did it happen?
I came across them and I kind of started following and mingling with people, and my name got thrown in. How it works basically is people can nominate you. Anybody can nominate you, and you can submit your work, and they have a panel of judges who literally don't know who they are. You don't see them. They just kind of sit back and they're like, okay, let's go over every artist. And they basically they go through your entire career and they choose how many people will be nominated. And I think last year, I'm not 100%, I think it was around 15 or 20,000 artists from my category were considered. And there was, I believe it was 10 or 15 of us that were chosen for a nomination. So just being nominated alone blew my mind. I screamed when when the nomination list came out and they made the announcement. I screamed for hours, jumped up and down and just screamed. So.
And you're going back this year?
I am going back
Correct?
This year. I leave in about 2 weeks. It is the 21st of this month.
Were you nominated for another award this year?
Not this year, but you still get...
Once that new album drops.
Once that new album comes out, that's what we're waiting for. That is the anticipation. So next year, I do plan on that. But, you know, I'm already part of the network. I've already mingled with everybody, met with everybody. And everybody down there is so supportive, too. I know a lot of times it is with artists in the area, anywhere. There's competition, like anything else. But down there, I mean, you have competition, but everybody's like, hey, man, what's your music? What do you do? Where do you play? Oh, great. Add me on Facebook. Let's, talk. Maybe when you're down in Florida or you're out in Texas, let's get together. Let's do something, And everybody's just so welcoming and friendly. It's awesome. It's a whole nother world, and everybody's so professional and friendly, and just, it's one amazing experience.
That's the main word.
Yes.
Yes. Amazing. Well, that's super exciting.
Very exciting.
Wow. You had mentioned something to me casually, and it's kind of not casual. Something about European charts?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I was on the European Country Music Association music charts, and basically what that is it's kind of like the music charts in the United States. And I was on there. I beat out people like Martina McBride, Faith Hill, Tim McGraw, Taylor Swift. Like I topped the charts with all these different big stars, as well as other unsigned artists like myself. And I was on in Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, Ireland, all these different charts. And I got on through that. There was a woman, her name's Dixie McCormick. She's in charge of it. And this was actually through the help of my producer. He's always, pitching my music to something for me, or he'll call me and be like, hey, I just found this, or I've worked with another artist that did that. You need to do it. You found
yourself a good producer.
I did.
Oh, man. That's what everybody wants.
Yes.
To pitch their music like that and get it out there.
Yeah. It's so much more. It's nice though. 'Cause like a lot of studios, they're like, oh, come on in. I'll take your money. I'll do your CD. And they shove you out the door. And that's it. But I found somebody who actually helps me and pushes it. But yeah, so he's like, hey, you need to send in to this woman and get your stuff on these charts. So I sent in to her, and she's like, okay, well, we're going to take one of your songs, we're going to do a test with it, see how it goes. If it goes over good, we'll get more, we'll go from there. So she took one of my songs, and a week later she's blowing up my phone. She's like, you're a hit. The DJs are begging for more music. Everybody loves you. We need more. So I was like, oh, awesome. So I sent like the whole album. I'm like, here you go. Just run with it. So I she ended up calling me, and she's like, hey, the charts are in for all the different countries and you're just blowing it up. I'm like, what? So she sent me copies of everything. She's like, you got to see. And I ended up, they put together Country Music Legends in the Making, an album they did. And they put like one of my songs on there. And that went out to different promotional radio sites. I was on over 100 different radio stations across the world. It was crazy. Yeah, so.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. So you had said there were other unsigned artists in this whole process. You're unsigned.
I am.
Okay. What is the whole process with that? Because I'm sure there are some people out there that really have no idea what that means. So how does one become signed?
You know what? It's getting in front of the right people at the right time, and it's a battle. I'm still working towards, but I get closer every day with every accomplishment. Basically, from what I've learned being in Nashville, it's building your portfolio. Mm-hmm. It's building your experience. Like, you want to get out there, you want to get to where you're touring, you want to have experience working with people, you want a following. You have to build yourself as an artist first. It's kind of like getting a job. You have to have the skill, you have to have the talent, the people behind you. And
it's not so much just about, oh, I have a good voice and a couple good songs. Right. There's a lot that actually goes into, well, everything that you've accomplished and becoming signed. And yes. Like you mentioned, the social media, having a following, yes. Touring with people, making sure that you're touring at the right places, getting with the right producer. I mean, it's not easy.
No.
It's a lot of work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
It is. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. I've cried a few times, but I mean, and when you start to get higher and higher up, I mean, you'll start to find people that'll pick you apart left and right. Absolutely. And you'll find people that want to hold you back, but you'll also find a lot of people who support you. And, kind of like what I found with the Josie Network, I have a lot of support just from the year that I've been involved with that. And that's the key to it. You really have to push that negativity away. You got to avoid that and not take anybody too serious. If someone tells you, oh, you're not good or you're not going to make it, you'll be like, okay, yeah, well, that's your opinion. Hey, thanks. Have a nice day. And you keep going with it. You don't stop. You believe in yourself. You work on your craft. You hone it, and you make it as best you can, and you stay true to yourself. Like, if you're not grounded and you don't stay true to who you are, and you let people tell you what to do and how to do things, you're going to lose yourself. And that's a big thing if you're a young artist coming up. Like, don't take anybody too serious. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to know what you want and be true to you, because that's what people believe. Anybody can put on an act and do what anybody tells you to do and be a puppet on a string. But if you really want to get somewhere, you have to be your own artist.
That was perfect. She said everything that I've been saying for years. If any of my students watch this, pay attention to what she just said. It's so true. You have to be true to yourself, true to your art and what you want to do. So, where do you perform locally around here?
A lot of people probably remember me. I did Kecksburg UFO Festival for like 8 years straight. They were good to me. They were really good to me. But anywhere and everywhere, I performed pretty much
Do you have any
thing.
spots that you typically go to? Some place that you're a regular?
I'm not really anywhere regular. I go wherever, and I honestly, I have my own mindset about things. I don't like to play one place, continuously for too long, because, you wear people out with that. And that's the one thing I've learned with the music business as well. I mean, people get real tired of things real quick.
Well, and you can get stuck too. If you
Yeah,
keep going to the
exactly.
same places.
Yeah, and for me, I like to mix it up a little bit. Of course, I go back to places. They call me. They're like, "Hey, you want to come back?" I'm like, "Yeah," but I try to spread it out if possible. I've opened with some different people, and anytime I can jump on stage, I've been doing a lot of that lately, just to kind of get some experience and see who's out there and mingle with people. I'm like, somebody calls me and says, "Hey, you want to come up and do a song with us, or you want to come open for this band, or you want to do this or that?" I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool,
I think that pretty much covers it for me. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap it up?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me.
You've been a joy.
You too.
Oh my goodness, this interview! I think this is like my favorite interview.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe edit that out. No, but I wish you all the best. You're fantastic. I cannot wait to hear you sing. You're doing a mix of covers and originals for us tonight.
I am. I'm going to do some of my original stuff, give you guys a taste of me, and I'm going to give you a little bit of something maybe you've heard a little bit before, but my twist of it. So,
love it. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so very much for coming out tonight.
Thank you,
everyone.
too.
This is Katrina Lynn, country singer, songwriter. We'll be right back after the break.
Hunger exists in every county in America. More than 1 in 5 children are at risk. Armstrong continues to create awareness in our communities through Breaking Bread, our initiative to provide resources to food pantries and soup kitchens.
September is Avenge Hunger Month, and we're working to collect 60,000 pounds of food. Bring your non-perishable food donations to your Armstrong store between August 26th and October 4th.
For more information, visit us at armstrongonewire.com/breakingbread.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is country singer-songwriter Katrina Lynn.
All right, we're going to kick it off with a song off my album called I Feel So Country.
Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I eat supper every night at the Cracker Barrel. When I step out, I dress in Western apparel. An American girl, just like the 4th of July. I feel so country, I could die. I know every song Shania ever sang. Ow. I can't resist that good old country twang. Well, I wave my flag every 4th of July, and that's why I feel so country I could die. Well, I'm looking for a man who's looking for a girl who knows just how she feels. Looking for a man who's looking for a girl who's looking for something real. I grew up on a farm, I learned how to hoe and plow. Come on, see boy, I'll show you how. When I love a man, I never say goodbye. I feel so country I could die. Take it away, Cabby. Well, I'm looking for a man who's looking for a girl who knows just how she feels. Looking for a man who's looking for a girl who's looking for something real. I grew up on a farm, I learned how to hoe and plow. Come on, see boy, I'll show Thank you. All right, you guys, we're going to do a song that I wrote, and this will be on the next album. This is called Ain't Strong Enough. That pill ain't strong enough, neither is the drink in my cup. Ain't enough men in the bar to heal my broken heart. Well, I tried everything you could think to try. Most nights I just sat up and cried. I drank every bottle of whiskey that I could find. Tried more pills than I should at one time. And I thought about dating maybe once or twice, but it just never feels right. That pill ain't strong enough, neither is a drink in my cup. Ain't enough men in the bar to heal my broken heart. Maybe someday I'll find a better way, but for now, guess my pain's here to stay. Well, I've been pretty reckless since you've been gone, but the pain cuts deeper than my scars. I don't seem to care what it's gonna take. I just gotta get you off my brain. That pill ain't strong enough, neither is a drink in my cup. Ain't enough men in the bar to heal my broken heart. Maybe someday I'll find a better way, but for now, guess my pain's here to stay. Everywhere I turn, I can still see you. So I do the only thing I can do. That pill ain't strong enough, neither is a drink in my cup. Ain't enough men in the bar to heal my broken heart. Maybe someday I'll find a better way, but for now, guess my pain's here to stay. 'Cause that pill ain't strong enough, neither is a drink in my cup. The man ain't sweet enough, the cop lights won't wake me up. Maybe someday I'll find a better way, but for now, guess my pain's here to stay. Thank you. Yes. All right, we're going to do another one off my album. This is called This Relationship. You can't stay afloat when you're rocking the boat, baby. From day one, you've given me the same old lies. You were so clever at taking the pleasure I gave you. I can't believe I failed to see the signs. I'm trying to keep my head above the water, like a ship in the storm tossed around. 'Cause even with your best lines, this relationship is going down. Why would I stay when you treat me this way, baby? The Water's too rough, this anchor ain't gonna hold. You're a devil may care, living nightmare I can't handle. You're lying and cheating and drinking and acting so cold. Oh, I got a sinking feeling. I gotta set my feet on solid ground. 'Cause even with your best lines, this relationship is going down. This ship is nowhere bound. 'Cause even with your best lines, this relationship is going down. Oh, even with your best lines, this relationship is going down. I said, now even with your best lines, this relationship is going down. Thank you. All right, Cabby, what do you say we do something that everybody might be a little familiar with?
Let's do it.
All right. I cut my bangs with some rusty kitchen scissors. I screamed his name till the neighbors called the cops. I numbed the pain at the expense of my liver. Don't know what I did next, all I know I couldn't stop. Word got around to the Buffaloes and the Baptists. My mama's phone started ringing off the hook. I can hear her now saying she ain't gonna have it. Don't matter how you feel, it only matters how you look. Go and fix your makeup, girl, it's just a breakup running. Hide your crazy and start acting like a lady. 'Cause I raised him better, gotta keep it together even when you fall apart. This ain't my mama's broken heart. Wish I could be just a little less dramatic, like a Kennedy when Camelot went down in flames. Leave it to me to be holding the matches when the fire trucks show up and there's nobody else to blame. Can't get revenge and keep a spotless reputation. Sometimes revenge is a choice you gotta make. My mama came from a softer generation where you can get a grip and bite your lip just to save a little face. Go and fix your makeup, girl, it's just a breakup running. Hide your crazy and start acting like a lady. 'Cause I raised you better, gotta keep it together even when you fall apart. This ain't my mama's broken heart. Pat your nose, paint your toes, line your lips and keep them closed. Cross your legs, dot your eyes and never let them see you cry. Go and fix your makeup, girl, it's just a breakup running. Hide your crazy and start acting like a lady. 'Cause I raised you better, gotta keep it together even when you fall apart. This ain't my mama's broken heart. Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to do a song. This one's always been my dad's favorite. This is called Landslide. Take it down. Yeah, and if you climb a mountain and you turn around, if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well then maybe bring you down. Thank you. I want to thank Armstrong and Chelsea and the camera crew and the sound men for having us out here today. Special thank you to my original guitar instructor. When you find somebody good to work with, stick with them. This is my guitar god right here. Always got my back. Thank you, Gabby. We got one more for you guys. This is one that I've done for years. I love it. Everybody seems to love it. This is called Gunpowder and Lid. Road 233 under my feet. Nothing on this white rock but a little old me. Got 2 miles till he makes bail, and if I'm right, we're heading straight for hell. I'm going home, all of my shotgun, wait by the door and light a cigarette. He was a fire well, now he's got one, and he ain't seen me crazy yet. Slap my face and he shook me like a rag doll. Don't that sound like a real man? back wind. He pulls in the drive, gravel flies. He don't know what's waiting here this time. Hey, I'm going home on my shotgun. We found a door and light a cigarette. He wants a foul whale, now he's got one, and he ain't seen me crazy yet. Slap my face and it should be like a ragdoll. Don't that sound like a real man? How much on one a girl's made of gunpowder and lid. Well, his fist is big, but my gun's bigger. He'll find out when I pull the trigger. I'm going home on my shotgun. We found the door and light a cigarette. He wants a foul whale, now he's got one, and he ain't seen me crazy yet. Slap my face and it should be like a ragdoll. Don't that sound like a real man? How much on a girl's made of gunpowder and lid. Gunpowder and lid, yeah, yeah. Hey! Thank you guys so much. I'm Katrina Lynn.
Katrina, you're fantastic. Thank you so very much for coming out tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You were wonderful. You were a joy to talk to. You were even better to listen to. Thank you for coming out as well. It's lovely to see you as always. Everyone, be sure to check out all of her pages, Facebook, website, YouTube channel, Spotify, Instagram, iTunes, all of it. She's got a new album coming out beginning of next year. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you for watching, everyone. That's a wrap. We will be back for another fresh episode of Music Talks next Wednesday. Until then, have a lovely evening. Bye.